What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Just before we start I want to say really quickly that I have finally made a Twitter. You can tweet me or follow me at Gaming Curios, and I'll be using Twitter to do some giveaways and fan games later on in the month, so definitely check it out. Anyways, throughout our time in solo queue, we're going to be playing a lot with people that we haven't met and will likely never meet again. But the fact still remains that League is a team-based game, and so creating teamwork with your allies can be quite a difficult task. So, here are my tips and tricks to help you create teamwork with your team in solo queue. The first thing is something you should always do no matter the situation, and it's to promote a positive team environment. It's not something we often think about, but even just a simple "good job dude" when an ally makes a good play, or "it's okay we still got this" when they start to get a little negative, really goes a long way. You want to treat your allies like actual teammates, not just randoms that you happen to be playing with. Make your team feel appreciated, ignore their mistakes for the most part, and praise their good plays. It really does go a lot farther than you might think. Next, you want to play to your team's playstyle, not have them play to your playstyle. Different playstyles have different strengths and weaknesses, but the fact remains that your allies got to the same ELO that you did, so they must have done something to get there in the first place, so their playstyle is likely going to pan out in the end. If your team wants to play passive and farm, then teamfight, ward up and do your best to prevent the team from getting picked off while they farm up. If they want to try certain strategies, you should probably just go with it, or at the very least, kindly suggest alternatives. The key is to just have everyone on board with your team strategy, to work as a team. It doesn't really matter as much if the strategy or playstyle isn't perfect, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be optimal, but the actual teamwork that has all 5 of your members commit to that strategy is way more important. In addition, especially in the early game, you want to observe the way your allies play, and look for the player tendencies. You can learn a lot by observing your opponents and looking at their tendencies, but the same can actually apply to your allies. Maybe your jungler likes to counter jungle a lot, in which case, pushing out your lane and being in position to go help them will be really useful. Or maybe your mid laner looks for roams often, in which case, keep your wave pushed in and sweep gank paths for your laner. Or maybe your AD carry likes to play passive, in which case just avoid being harassed until you can find a truly optimal fight. In any case, every player has a specific way that they like to play, things that they like to do, and you can use those things to your advantage by doing your best to synergize and promote the plays that your team tries to make. In addition, by far the most important thing is to communicate with your team. Remember the player tendencies we just talked about? As well as observing your allies, you can really just ask them if they want to make a play or how they make their plays. It won't be as extensive as observing them, of course, but it will be much quicker and realistically more simple. Anyways, communication is definitely the best way to influence the play of your teammates. Even things as simple as pings go a long way. Pinging whenever you want to make a play is 100% a good idea, as well as just constantly be communicating things like timers or what your own player tendencies are to your team, so that they know what to expect from you. And if you can, try to be a leader. If you were nice and didn't feed, most of the time your team is honestly going to listen to you. So making calls, even as simple as, "Hey guys, we should just group," can go a long way. Just make sure that when you make calls and lead the team, you plan out your strategy ahead of time. There's no use in saying, "Hey guys, let's group," if your team gets caught out like 10 seconds later. Rather, you want to plan your strategies out and set up the team plays. Since you want everyone to take part, they need enough time to be ready to group up or at least prepare for your play that you intend to do. And lastly, you want to understand your team composition so that you can play to its strengths. Maybe your team is good at split pushing, maybe your team wants to poke, or maybe you want to team fight. Either way, you have to know what your comp is good at, what it's bad at, and work with your team to try to do the thing that your comp is good at doing. In solo queue, this is usually going to be to create picks or team fight, since it's what most people are used to doing anyways. So you want to communicate a plan for how to win team fights and what the best thing is for you guys to do during those team fights. Anyways, that's just about what I could come up with. My name is Jeremy, and that's it for my video on how to create teamwork in solo queue. Be sure to check me out over at twitch.tv/Jeremy_GamingCurios. Stay connected at facebook.com/GamingCurios. Tweet me at GamingCurios. Drop a like, share this video, and make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.